All right, everyone. Welcome to our call tonight. For those of you catching the recording, thank you for taking this time. I'm really excited about our call. I have quite a few announcements to go through because it's a new month. And then I just, based on some feedback I got from the Kiss My Biz group and just some things that people have been sharing, and even kind of my month of August, I just had this idea to share with you guys. And I kind of came up with it as I was writing, which was kind of fun, about kicking perfectionism like out of your boardroom, right? So first, I want to kick things off though with the announcements. A couple things. First off, pumpkin spice launched today. So if you are a pumpkin spice fan, definitely check it out. And if you're not, still don't judge that other people are, and reach out to your people. Like I was realizing like I needed to post in my challenge group and in the team page. Like this morning I was joking with the cathedral builders, oh, I dropped the ball. Like, you're totally judging. And so like I'm even going to send, if you go in your online office, you can go under customers and you can send an email out that just says like, hey, just a friendly reminder, like the seasonal flavor. People actually appreciate that. And when you're in a business, sometimes we miss the step of serving the people that we already have to give chances to like upgrade and try new things. And that's like the first place we should go, is something that I was actually not taught when I first started coaching. And so, you want to continually serve the people who are with you and kind of give them first access to stuff. So that happens today. I thought it was tomorrow too. Me and release dates. 30-Day Breakaway, which is our new program that is going to release in October, is a running program, but it's a cross-training program. The sample workout launches on the Angie Stanton on the 19th. These are all on the header of the team page. So I changed the header. It's this fun pumpkin color that has dates of all of the launches. And then if you look in the announcements, I also posted some other things that are coming up. So you can check that out. And they're also in your online office under Coach Breaking News. So like there's updates every week. So I'm excited about 30-Day Breakaway too. I have not run in 6 years. And so I'm like, or no, it hasn't been that long. Has it? 5. I don't know. Shoot. I was a coach when I did it. Maybe it was 5 years. Anyway, my point is I'm excited to run. Can't believe I'm saying that. Cathedral Builders is open right now, and it's called Emerald Dash Edition. That's the application is in the team page with all the details. This is like for coaches that want to create a habit of building their business. And usually it is for coaches that are Emerald rank, which is when you have some team members underneath you, 2 team members. But for the month of September, to give people just something. I feel like August is always a month of just a lot. So I felt like for September to give everyone like a fresh start, we're going to lean in together to grow. So check that out. New Coach Q&A is back. So every week at 8:00, I'll be on here and I'm going to cover a unit. I'm actually going to make a little graphic that's going to stay in the units that'll explain the Q&A, but basically I'll hop on, review any questions from the unit for that week or any questions you have. And this is for anyone. It's for new coaches. It's for coaches digging back in. It's for coaches who are working, who just need help. Like it's for my coaches. It's for your coaches. Like, so please invite them, come with them. It's a chance for us to like help with the business and the vitals, because our team calls are more training based. And so as we've been adding a lot of coaches to our team, I wanted to bring that back. So I want to welcome new coaches. We have Amy on tonight. So welcome, Amy. And new coaches that are watching this recording, we're really excited to have you here. We had a great month. We brought on quite a few people. I need to get better at like making a big, like, here are all the new coaches, because that would be really cool. I have to figure out how to do that. But I'm really excited. I want to congratulate Gabriel and Sarah Gimnario. So Gabriel Johnson had a baby. Sarah Gimnario had a baby today. Gabriel had her baby a little bit ago. She is asking for prayers. I think her little girl is Isabel, and she's in the NICU, so she's needing some prayers right now. And then Sarah had her little boy yesterday, Edward. Is that right? Edward John. And oh my gosh, they're so cute. I love all these kids. So we have like at least an average 12 babies born on our team a year. So I think we might pass our quota actually this year, which is pretty exciting. But I want to congratulate them. I want to thank you guys for your support again for me last month. I want to thank Angie for literally stepping up and leading all the things, because it was a hard month and I was called away quite a bit, and that's the beauty of team. And so I just needed to just take a moment to thank her. because that's how we lean in. You know, we have things that happen and things that are unexpected, and that's the beauty of this business. It's not all on you. We are a team and a family, and so it's a blessing. So thank you guys for just being understanding of my absence. It felt weird. I've never ever stepped completely out for those many days, but it was needed. And also, so it made me like so grateful to come step back in, you know what I mean? And so I'm just thankful for you guys so much. And then, oh yeah, we're talking about running. Okay, so it's a new month and a fresh start. I want to talk about how like sometimes we think of a new month, and I don't know about you guys, but I thought the same thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so ready for a new month. August was such a bad month, like because August was not a fun month for me. But I had to catch myself, because the truth is I'm excited about a new month just the way I get excited about Mondays, just the way I get excited on day one of a new program. But I can't discredit the week before, the day before, the month before. So before you set goals for a new month, you need to take some time to recognize your wins. So I want everyone who's on here to type up something good that happened in your personal journey. And then for those that aren't brand new, something good that happened in your business, and share it in the chat in the month of August. Because if we can't celebrating and gratitude is the foundation, which we're going to talk about tonight. It's harder to set goals that don't feel like they're filling a hole, right? That's awesome, Angie. She added 2 coaches to her team. You know, like I was excited. I finished MBF once, and then the second time I finished it by sporadically, but I still did it twice. The girl, 20 miles. That's incredible. That was huge for me. I welcomed 2 coaches to our team last month, and had a great month despite having to step away for 10 days because of crisis, which that was a gift that I had that. Finished MBF, started T25. Oh, I love hit SC5. That's so awesome. You've never done that before? Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I just thought you did. Sorry. So exciting. Recommitting to the business, walked away from your job that was way too stressful to be more present. I love that you did that, Amy. That was so cool when you shared that with me that day. Like that's such a gift that you took that time. So these are important things. Like you want to take the time to celebrate like what went well before you set goals. Like, because the problem is if we don't, then we're setting goals almost out of desperation of striving versus like a continuation of and celebrating what we've already done. So goals need to stretch you to grow your mindset and leadership. Goals need to excite you to pursue them, and they need to have meaning, right? And goals should also force you to create a habit to reach them. If you have a goal that you can wing and hit, you need a bigger goal. Because if you're just winging it and you're hitting the goal, then you're kind of going to get complacent and slack in your like virtue. And that's not what you're called to, right? And the beauty of this applies in our fitness journey, which is the foundation of what we do as coaches. And so it's so important. So tonight, I want to help you guys talk a little bit about what your goals are for September. And I want to encourage you when we're done to have the courage to go in the team page, and in the header, there's a big pink #goals post. And I want you to post your goals underneath it and have the courage. And don't say, but what if I don't hit them? I don't care. I care more that you said them out loud than you actually hit them. Because the problem is if you never say them out loud, no one will ever know if you hit them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's not about hitting it the first time you say it. It might take 3 months to hit it, but if you keep saying it, you're going to dance 3 times more when you hit it, because you kept saying, and here I am going to do it, and I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you've ever known someone in their life that said, like, I'm going to do some crazy big thing, they didn't do it the first month. And sometimes people think they're crazy 6 months in that they're still pursuing something. But when they finally finish, not only it's kind of like the Saints winning the Super Bowl. Like when they finally do it, people are so freaking excited. Like my husband still thinks it was like the best year of his life. It snowed in Louisiana and the Saints won the Super Bowl. I mean, you just can't, but the point is you don't just say it because if you're committed to it, then you need to say it out loud. So yes, Angie, hitting diamond. You got this, girl. So I want to encourage you, but then I also want to encourage you to read it daily. Don't just post it in team page and then hide your face. Like, read it daily, write it. So I have like a checklist, and I write my goals on my checklist. I have a planner, I write my goals on my planner. I have a journal, I write my goals in my journal. I write them often. Not daily, but often. Probably should do it daily. But it's important that you revisit them enough that you are there in front of your face, so that they become important to you. They're not something you're just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping that happens. And the other thing is, when your goal becomes comfortable, you got to stretch it. So talked a little bit about this already, but like, think about it. When you're doing a lift program and you first start off, like bar blend. Okay, so Amy just started bar blend. Amy, when you do bar blend, like, she tells you to lift like 1 pound weights, and you think this is ridiculous, but then you do it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is hard. By the end, I got to lift 3 pound weights. I've never been so happy about 3 pound weights in my life. But my point is, if I kept doing 1 pound weights when I could have done a 3 pound weight, I would be missing some of the growth and the strength that I could have. So the same thing is with your fitness. Like, if you've done country heat 100 times, you need to move on to something that'll push you a little harder. You know, you don't have to do insanity, but you could try something like NBF or 21-day fix or morning meltdown 3000. Just kidding, 100. But you can find something that meets you where you're at, that stretches you, but it also has to align with what's important to you, right? So like, Angie ran 20 miles. That's amazing. That's important to her. 5 miles is important to me, maybe 3. 5K is 3 miles. That's even better. You know what I'm saying? But maybe then when I do the 5K, I'll have the confidence to run the 10K and then the half, and then I have no idea, but maybe one day I'll do a full marathon. She's like, yes, you will. But my point is, like, when it gets easy, if you don't stretch yourself, you get complacent. So a couple of things to keep in mind. Each month you want to do a fitness program and a nutrition plan that stretches you, excites you to share about it, and forces you to tweak and create habits. This is the foundation of your business. I have been guilty of sometimes wanting to do a really hard workout program, thinking I wouldn't have to focus on my nutrition. But all that did was create a really yo-yo relationship with food. And I eventually got to the place where I had to fix my nutrition so that I felt good when I did the workouts. Just because I can do Insanity Max 30 and then eat pizza all the time doesn't mean that's going to serve me, right? So I have to do both. Like, it's not about being perfect, and we're going to talk about that at the end, but you have to, you need to be excited about what you're doing. So I have done a lot of Beachbody programs in the last 7 years, and there have been some that I finished out of the virtue that I started them, and I didn't love them, and I will never do them again. And then there are some, like Core to Force or Morning Meltdown 100 or MBF or Lift 4, that I could do multiple times because I loved them. I love Lift 4. It's one of my favorite programs. I liked the first one I ever did, Les Mills Combat, which we don't have anymore. But I did that program tons of times. I love P90X3. I love Tony Horton. So my point is, you need to be excited about what you're doing. So if you test a program out and you try it for a week and you don't love it, find something that excites you. I mean, yeah, there's virtue in finishing the thing, but I would rather you pick something and finish it that's exciting to you, because it's going to help you, because you're going to want to talk about it, right? And then something that helps you to tweak your habits. So tapping into the nutrition programs that we have, watching the videos, starting with water first, or whatever it is that's going to create that habit. You also want to be listening or reading personal development that helps you in the areas that you need nourishment in your growth. So as you're starting to tweak your nutrition, if you're like, I have no clue what I'm doing, tap into a nutrition program. The videos are like 10 minutes a day. That's your PD. If you're struggling with mindset, find a book on it. If you're struggling with negative self-talk, find a book on it. If you're struggling with belief, if you struggle with business skills, how do I talk to people? Find a book on it or a podcast and listen to 10 minutes or do 10 pages a day, because that's going to help you grow. Just like you're doing the physical lifting of your workout, you need to also do the mental lifting too. And you want your business goals do the same thing. So we talked about your fitness is your foundation. So new coaches, Unit 2 talks all about this in our team page. There's a simple recipe. We tell people to start with what's taught as like the P25 by our upline Summer Tucker. It's 25 minutes where you do 2, 2, 2, and 2. What that means is you find 2 people that are new to become friends with. You send 2 people a message to connect with them, not an invite, just a message, just being a good human. You invite 2 people to do something with you. So for like, if you're brand new, that might be like your really good friends that you would invite to do it with you, even if you weren't a coach. Like maybe you picked a program, you're excited, you call these 5 people and be like, you want to do this together? Those are your first invites, right? Because you already know them, it's not weird. And then 2 follow-ups, because if you message someone once, you should check back with them. And so that's the foundation in your business that helps you gain the momentum to reach your first goals. Because you can set a goal, but then you got to do the things. Just like you could say, I want to lose 10 pounds, or I want to do 10 push-ups on my toes, or I want to run a 5K. Well, then you got to find the fitness program that gives you the daily steps. In your business, it's the same. You got to, but you get to decide. So for a new coach, it's 2, 2, 2, and 2. I feel like it should be 2 to the 4. Does that work? I'm not good at math either. I was going to say 2 square, but that doesn't work. Sorry. That didn't work. Anyway, but you should set a goal for how many people do you want to help this month? So if you guys could type in the chat, like how many people would you like to help get started this month? For a new coach, you might think, I just want to help 1 person. That'd be so exciting. That's great. It's not even just, I want to help 5 people. I want to help 10 people. You get to decide, but you need to decide when you're doing your 2, 2, and 2, and 2, or your 3, whatever number you pick. I'm not going to say that anymore. So I mean, that's when you do your recipe and you're working your business, you need to know your outcome. I want to have 3 new people to do, bar blend with me. I want to have 5 people do muscle burns fat with me. I want to have 5 people do the running program. And you decide how many people you want to help. And then you decide, I want to build my team. So I want to have 1 new coach every month join my team. Because when you have that benchmark you're working towards, then you know why you're doing your power hour. If you're just doing a power hour or power 25 and you're doing these invites, but you have no goal, you don't know when you've hit it, you don't know when you've missed it, right? And it's exciting when you have your first 2 people or your first 5 people. Like, it's exciting. When I got my first challenger, I was so excited. Like, Heather Dent, she's still a coach on our team. She actually signed up as a discount coach and she still won 7 years later. And we did T25 together. Like, I was so pumped when she said yes. Like, I got my first commission check ever. And someone was in the challenge group besides my husband who never posted that I knew. Like, it was exciting. And so it's important that you set a goal. And if you're new, like Amy, like, we can chat about this, and anyone else who's new listening to this, like, you talk to your coach and say, these are my goals. Can you help me figure out how many people that means? Or this is what I'm thinking. Can you tell me what my daily activity should look like? That's what your coach is there for. They help you set your pace. And so setting goals is easy, writing them down is easy. Being excited about it is even easy. But the daily showing up is usually where people struggle. So you've got this recipe that you can watch. It's an amazing training in Unit 2 on the recipe. And there's also really good training in Unit 2 on inviting that we just did 2 weeks ago. Steph Cram did it, and it's phenomenal. And you got all the tools, you did all the trainings. But the thing is, you have to do the daily stuff. Like, just like you got to press play and you got to drink your shake. And for some of us, it's drink and energize multiple times a day. And for some of us, it's Ed's do and recover. And some of us, like, there's your, or we try a Beachbody bevy, like, whatever. You got the tools, but you got to put it in the water and stir, right? You got to press play and get up and move. And so the thing is, this is what I found has held me up the most in my journey. And what I've learned is like attracts like. And I also think this is pretty much the human race right now. Perfectionism paralyzes you. You get excited, you write it down, you're going to go. And the first day you want to press play, you wake up with a stomach virus. And then you're like, well, crap, I'm going to have to wait a month. No, that's perfectionism. But you're also not going to be like, I'm going to do it anyway, even though I'm sick, because that's stupid. So tonight, what I want to talk to you about is 4 ways perfectionism shows up and how to fire it. So my whole analogy is, you're the CEO. You're in charge of your health journey, and you're also in charge of your business. You're not my employee. Even in the challenge group, you don't show up for me. It's for you. I'm running my own race. You're running yours. We are in charge. Same with this business. You own your business. I am here to help. We are together. I just have a little bit more time under my belt. And so when you have that attitude of I'm in charge, sometimes that makes people crumble. They're like, shoot, that's a lot of pressure, right? But the pressure comes from perfectionism. It comes from this idea we have in our head. And so I am sure there's a million ways it shows up, but these are the 4 that I'm going to talk about tonight that I find have hit me. And it was 5, but I actually merged the last one and did 2 into 1 because I feel like they're very related. So if you have a pen, you might want to write this down. If not, that's okay. I can share the notes from the call in the team page too. But the first one is called the dash and crash. Thought that was kind of clever. And I know I call the Cathedral Builders group Dash to Emerald, and I'm going to completely explain that at the end of this. It's not the same kind of dash. Okay. But too many times people think they have to go flying without giving time to focus and their business, and they burn out. They send 100 invites in a day, and then they can't manage their inbox. They post on social media so much in 1 week, or they're on stories 24/7 that they get overwhelmed and want to put their phone away forever. I ran my first 5K before I was a coach. Okay. And I trained with a good friend of mine who lives here, who's a runner. She's a soccer player. The chick is fast. She runs like a 7-minute mile. To me, I can't even fathom running that fast. Maybe you can, Angie. My husband runs like a 6-minute mile, which makes me sick. He's like, I was kind of slow today. Anyway, I run like a 12-minute mile. So, anyway, she and I trained, got to the race. There's like a couple hundred people. We line up. She looks at me and she says, you just run your race. Don't try to keep up with me. Like, the gun's going to go off, and just run. Just run to finish. Don't worry. Just have fun. Because she was going to do her pace. Like, she's fast, right? I have no idea what to do at the start of a race. I've never been to one. So people are like, on your mark. I'm like, am I supposed to touch the ground? Am I supposed to squat? Like, what? I'm looking around like, I really had no idea. And you guys know how nervous I get about looking stupid. And here I am, like, and I'm in the front, which is never a good idea. So I mark the ground like an idiot, and the gun goes off, and I am like keeping up. I am like fast as I can go. And about 60 seconds in, all I could think is, I'm dying. Like, my chest felt like it was going to crash. I'd never run that fast in my life. And all I knew was I had no idea where Maureen was. She was gone. She was so gone. I was like, I have no idea. All I knew was there was a pregnant lady with a stroller and a 7-year-old, and I was not going to let them beat me. That's all I cared about, which is awful. But I was like, I can keep up with them. So I ran. I slowed my pace and ran, but still was going really fast with this pregnant lady with a stroller. That's crazy. And a 7-year-old. And I was running. And I finished the race, and my husband and Maureen and her husband and our kids were all like, Mom, Mom, Mom. And I hit a wall, literally. Like, there was a wall you could sit on. I fell on it. They're like, let's go eat. Because after races, they have like beer and chili and tacos. And all I wanted to do was vomit. And I held the wall, and Courtney's like, are you okay? I was like, I think I'm dying. I don't ever want to do that again. Like, and he's like, you ran 9-minute mile. You only ran, like, my fastest before that was like 11. It was the fastest race I've ever run, but I crashed. I was so miserable. I didn't want to touch food. I just wanted to go home. Guys, we do that sometimes in our fitness when we try to be perfect our first week, and then we go into the weekend and we go to a cookout and like binge out of control and get sick. Or we do it when we, in this business, I'm going to do it. And we like push so fast that we're not even paying attention to what we want. And we think and it's easy in any business. Like, but if you're in part, if you listen to the national wake up calls and stuff, you hear these great accolades. They're there to inspire, but never to make you think you got to sprint unless you're called to, right? And even then you got to train to be able to not die at the end of the race. So your dash and crash mentality, what feeds it? These are the vices: comparison, perfectionism, and impatience. Like, those are the vices. That's what creeps in. But the virtues that you can gain from overcoming this is gratitude for where you are, self-control from your desire to overdo it, and discipline to stay faithful on the course. So your solution is your race, your pace. You set a pace, and you trust that pace. you enjoy the pace, and you give thanks for the pace. And the way you do that is you use a tracker, you set a timer if you have to, you develop those discipline habits. When someone passes you up, you think, go you, good for you. Literally, you have to say it out loud. You don't think, why not me? You think, go you, you're doing awesome. You know what I'm saying? And you don't like judge different lanes, right? Because if you dash and crash, like you're missing the vital part. Summer Tucker is a very good friend and an upline coach. She's been coaching for, I think, 11 years. She's a 7-figure earner in this business. She lives in Florida. She's like living her dream that when she started. And she says the journey was so good. It's better than the destination. She loves where she's at, but she's so glad it took her the time to enjoy the journey. So in this business, don't allow comparison to rob you of your race, right? And if you are like talking to another coach and they're like, yeah, my goal is to hit like $1,000 in 2 months, and your goal is $150 in 2 months, don't all of a sudden start sending out 50 invites a week because that coach has maybe a bigger goal. That's okay for them too. That might be what they're able to manage. It's not our business to even judge it, right? And so that's the first way. So the dash to emerald, I'm going to preface this, is a little different because in the Cathedral Builders, by doing 2 and 2 consistently for a month, you will naturally hit emerald by working at a regular pace. It's more of a dash in a sense that it feels fast because sometimes people stay stuck and not building for a very long time because they're missing the daily, but it's really not. A dash to emerald would be like, hit emerald tomorrow, which you could do, but you might go, I'm new, I don't even know what that means. So my point is, don't dash and crash and look at the virtues you can grow in. Number 2, the overthink and sink. This is me. You get in a groove, things are good, and then right before you hit your goal, you bonk. You either get afraid of the unknown, or you freak out, you can't handle it, or you start saying all this stuff and you freeze. This is the second race I ever ran. I did a 10K. My husband ran with me, who can run really fast, but he said, guess what? I'm not going to run my pace. I'm going to pick a pace for you, and I'm going to pace you. So don't look at your whatever the thingy was on my hand, Fitbit thing. Just run with me, and I'll pace you, and we'll just do it together. I'm like, this is great, you know, because he's not going to push me to hurt myself, but Courtney knows me enough to push me to stretch, right? So we ran this 10K together. I got to mile 6. Like 6.2 miles. I can see the finish line. I'm like doing great. And he says, hon, you're going to break an hour, meaning like do it in under an hour. And I bonked. My legs locked up. I slowed down. He's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I just don't know. I think I need Gatorade. He's like, just go. And I could not go. I was like freaking out. I could not go. And I finished in like an hour and 26 seconds or something. So I still did really well. But my point was, afterwards, he was like, man, your mental game, you crashed. Like, I should have never told you were going to do it. And I was like, yeah, you shouldn't have, you know. But it was this whole fear of like, oh my gosh, can I really do this? And it happens in our business. You'll be really close. It happens in our fitness journey. You'll be really close to your goal weight. And then all of a sudden, you just kind of splurge. And you don't know why. Self-sabotage, you know, you'll get really close to a business goal and then you just don't work for a few days and you don't know why. And so I was really thinking about this. What feeds this is perfectionism, all or nothing, and some kind of limiting belief. And we all have different ones. So how do you overcome it? You need gratitude, prudence, and discipline. And the big one is prudence, okay? So you need to lean into the community, to the team, to your challenge group. You need to have that community to help carry you in the momentum of the group. That's one part that's very helpful with it. You also need to be able, though, to speak it out loud and to know that you don't have to agree with it. Because where prudence comes in is when you're running for a goal and you start to feel this like resistance, You can either balk at it, or you can think, this means I'm going to win. And you just keep going. You retrain yourself to feel that as, oh, you know what? I'm so close to my goal, and I know I really love pizza, and I know I can treat myself, but you know what? I really want to reach my goal, and this like temptation right now is going to help me grow in discipline. And you get to make a choice. You know, if you're really close to diamond or emerald or whatever your goal is, $500 or, you know, whatever, and you start to feel resistance, you can say like, I'm just feeling this because I don't know what it's going to look like, but it's going to look really good. So I'm going to keep going. Like, you recognize it. And that's where prudence comes in. Like, you recognize it. You're feeling it just because there's an unknown on the other side. And it means you're winning. You get to rewrite it. But the other part that's really cool is my husband's he did triathlons for a long time. And one of the things he told me around here is when they would bike together. I need to listen to that podcast. Angie, the I want to say terrier, but that's a dog. Terror barrier. He would ride in packs. And he said that part of when you ride in a pack of bikers, like road bikes, is you learn to kind of catch each other's draft and like ride as one. So when you're building the business, or when you're in your challenge group, when you share these things, sometimes when you share those things, someone else will help carry you through. You can say you're struggling, and they can say, that means you're close to your goal, don't give up. So you don't have to put all the pressure on yourself, right? Okay, number 3, the belief that all in means all day. Thinking that you're not doing enough, thinking that you have to be glued to your phone. What feeds this? Comparison. Like, you see someone posting on social media all day long, or it looks like they are because the algorithm makes all their posts show up on your feed. I don't even know how it works. Too much time on social media, scrolling and looking at other people's stuff and just wasting time. And fear and not trusting the process. Those are like kind of the vices that feed that belief in all in means all day. The virtues you need are discipline, patience, self-control, and gratitude. Notice I say gratitude every single time. I'm going to talk about that at the end. You set your pace to overcome this. Use a timer. Hop on a weekly. So like something I think Allison shared she did is that P25 recording that's in unit 2. Some coaches, did you do this, Allison? They'll like listen to it and work with it. Like somebody was telling me that they would listen to the recording of the Power Hour and work with it. And then when it was done, they were done. And then they were done for the day. So it helped them. Or some people set a timer to help them. So you want to like, once you're done, you put your computer away, you put your phone down, you set the times that you're unplugged. I personally delete the Facebook app off my phone every afternoon when I go to pick up my kids. It doesn't go back on my phone until the next day. Like if I need to check in a group, I do it from my computer, and then I put my computer down, right? Because it sets a boundary. When my kids see me on my computer, it's different than them seeing this, right? And I'm not going to spend as much time on my computer, and I'm not going to get as lost in all the apps, right? But you got to figure those things, those discipline things that are going to help you. You know, if someone's on social media more than you too, that's okay. I'm on more than a new coach. I run a big team, and I also am on when I'm not on, because I have an assistant that logs in as me and does stuff for me, like schedules stuff for me. So sometimes when you see a bunch of stuff, it's not me. You know, I do the personal stuff, but she takes care of some of the managing stuff. It's my daughter. And so I'm not on all day. Like, there have been seasons in my life though, where I work a lot more, but that's okay. That's my choice. You don't have to do that. So don't use someone else's overuse, or even if they're not good with time management, as an excuse that you have to do that to be all in. The truth is, if you use your checklist and track your business, so you know when you're done because you checked all your boxes, you can close the doors on your business that day. You know, and so you don't, all in just means you're committed to the 30 minutes that you're there, you're focused all in on your business. It means that when you're on a team call, you're all in on the team call. It doesn't mean like you're all in because you're all over the place all the time, right? And these top coaches you'll hear when you listen to trainings, like they spend a heck of a lot of time because they want to be the top 10 coaches in the company, and good for them. I don't want to work 40 hours a week, but they chose that, and that's awesome. So it's that comparison. So we have to be careful of that. Okay, last one, fear of failing, fear of success. So I put them together because they're actually very similar. You're afraid you won't reach your goal, so you only sort of try, or you're afraid of the success, so you self-sabotage. This was me. By the way, I've done all of these. That's how I can teach on it. Just being honest. I've run 2 half marathons, so I've kind of run a marathon in the course of a year and a half. Right, Angie? Kind of. I didn't train for either of them very well. And it was because of this. I had a fear of like really training hard and not doing as well as I thought I should. So I kind of would wing it, which is so stupid when you say it out loud. But that's what I was doing. What happens is when you just wing things to keep yourself safe in this comfort zone, you end up getting bored, tired, or feeling like a fraud because you never allow yourself to really root yourself in your vision and be excited. You never really allow people to see how excited you are. You don't let yourself out. You stay in this little cocoon because you're just afraid. You got to enjoy the journey. And that's the way you overcome this. If you can find joy in the journey, you don't get afraid of failure. Because I was listening to the book, Everything is Figure Outable by Marie Forleo. Great book. Don't listen to it in front of kids, but it's a great book. She drops random bad words, but it's a good book. And she says fail means first attempt in learning. And I thought that was a great acronym. And I've heard this analogy before, like when your kid's learning to walk and they get up on their 2 legs and they're like shaking their arms and they're about to take their first step and they fall. Do we yell at them and tell them they suck? No. So why do we do that when we like get rejected on an invite or we fall off our nutrition? We're so hard on ourselves. We need to literally treat ourselves like that little kid. I know there's this like criticism in our culture that everyone gets a trophy. I do think it's a little crazy. Like, everyone gets a trophy, because no one wants to see their feelings hurt. That's different because that doesn't let anyone grow. When you are overcoming though and celebrating, you need to celebrate the little wins. With fear of success, you have to let go of the limiting beliefs that are your comfort zone. And that was me for a long time. My first challenge group, the biggest hurdle I had and why I wanted to quit, I was afraid of reaching my goal weight because what if I'm still not happy? But this number is supposed to make me happy. What if I'm not? Or what if I am happy? Because I've spent the last 30 something years of my life not being happy about my body. I don't know if I'm ready to actually like my body. And I had to face that. And that was my limiting belief. And that was huge. If I had never said that out loud, it wouldn't have mattered what I did. So if you see the fear of success as a gift, because you get to identify something big that can help you, you start to change your focus a little bit. I was afraid of success in the business because I was afraid I'd lose friends. I was afraid I'd upset people when I did better than maybe they were doing. And I did sometimes upset people, and it wasn't my fault. And I had to learn that, and it was hard. I'm just gonna be honest. But I also got people excited, and I shared my goals, and it inspired other people to do big things. And I was able to learn to like who I am. And so I'm not going to say all of a sudden you overcome it and you're never going to have that resistance, right? But when you finally learn to share your vision out loud and you find joy in the journey, the freedom you have is so much better than the comfort zone. So what feeds it is comparison, limiting beliefs, and perfectionism. And the virtues you need are gratitude and forgiveness. You have to forgive yourself for all the times you didn't. All the times you quit. All the times you fell short. All the times you felt like a fraud. You have to forgive the people that might have talked down to you. I had to forgive my basketball coach, and this is so dumb, but I had a basketball coach in middle school that literally made me feel this big, and I never wanted to play sports again. And it made me never want to compete against anything again. I literally had to forgive her as an adult. I didn't call her, but I had to forgive her, right? I had to forgive people who in my family who made fun of me for doing an MLM, just so it released me from that. You have to, forgiveness is huge. And, you know, the solution to this is gratitude, daily gratitude for your journey. I have a gratitude journal. Daily participation in your challenge group, because when you show up, you start your journey and you stay on it. Sharing your failures in your challenge group and your lessons. I don't know how many times I had to confess eating a pan of brownies for a long time because that was my struggle, or a pint of ice cream, or a half gallon of ice cream. Like I'm a go big or go home when it comes to things. I'll eat an entire plate of nachos, no problem. Like, and if I'm doing it to self-medicate, the only way to overcome it was to share. And honestly, a lot of people were like, thank goodness I do the same thing. And then guess what? We kind of stopped, like, you know, or we got over it when we did it again. Gratitude in the team page weekly, every Thursday, we have a thankful Thursday. Like, go in there and talk about what you're thankful about, like in the business and your journey. Daily affirmations are important. We could do a whole call on that, but writing down the things that you need to speak over yourself. And then, like I said, taking time to forgive. And how many times do you forgive? 70 times 7, as many times as it takes. Forgiving yourself. So something I learned from my mindset coach was, like, when I have a judgment, a harsh judgment on myself, is like, I forgive this thought and I'm going to choose to think again. Like, it was a simple phrase, but it helped me a lot, because self-bullying is a big thing for me that I've had to overcome. You know, and when you forgive people, forgive yourself for judging yourself harshly and for judging others. Like, when you learn to forgive so openly, it actually releases so much of the baggage that was really what was your comfort zone. And it frees up so much space to have joy in your journey. So perfectionism is just self-protection. That's all it is. It's this shield we put around ourselves saying we're trying to perfect ourselves, but all it does is isolate you from the world. You have no place, there's no place for it in your life. It is literally, and I remember Brad, my coach, told me, you know, it's the lowest standard you can have. And everyone would say, well, in the Bible it says, be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect. So I have an answer for that. To be perfect as our heavenly Father is perfect is to surrender to him. So in your boardroom, he's actually your CEO, because he made you. And he didn't make you to fail. He didn't make you to stay paralyzed. He didn't make you to dash and crash. He didn't make you to overthink, right? And when you surrender, he perfects you. He perfects your business. He knows what he wants your business to look like. He knows what he wants your challengers to feel. He knows what your coaches need. So literally bringing all these things to him, like, it frees so much up, you know. And he is our CEO and would gladly evict anyone from the boardroom who's lying to you. He would kick them out. He already did. He kicked out a whole legion of them. They're in hell, you know, and so they have no place. So you should do the same. Our job is obedience. His job is results, which I'm totally making a tank, by the way, with that on it right now. That hit me in my PD yesterday or the day before. And I just want to tell you, like, I was really thinking about this because, oh, I know, I lost my thought. Hang on. Shoot. You can have your thought and just lose it. When we are working on our business and we are trying so hard to do the right things, there are many times where, like, we have to surrender and trust that he is not going to just take things away because maybe you've experienced that in the past. And I remember, I think it was about a year ago, I was in church, so it was before COVID, and I was sitting there because there was a season, and last year was a kind of rough year. I lost a baby and I was going through a lot of grieving, and I sat there and I just felt like he took something really big, you know, away. And I just was mad at him. And I was like, are you just going to take everything from me? You just going to take my business? Because this is a joy. I love this. And he said, yes. I mean, not like that, but I felt like and I was like, and he was like, I just want you to give it to me so I can, like, bless you. And so to me, guys, like, that's what this is. Give him your power hour. Lord, I gave you 25 minutes. I got to go handle all these kids. You work in the inbox. You work on their hearts. Pray over your list before you invite. Pray before you go on social media. I'm sure probably a lot of, I mean, I hope more team calls talk about this, but if there's one thing in our team that I've learned through our whole big team, there's a lot of that. Like people, this is his business. He's going to bless it how he wants to bless it. And he's going to grow you how he wants to grow you. And if you have perfectionism, just be a recovering perfectionist, watch the labels you give yourself, but don't allow it in your, don't allow it to stay, and maybe tonight it showed a light on something you didn't know. Cause like I said, these are all things, the only reason I'm teaching this is they're all things I do and have had to overcome. And so it's not just like you don't run a marathon on your first day when you run. You're not going to master all of this. But guess what? Those virtues, which by the way, when I was writing the virtues down, I was like, man, these are not fun virtues. Like no one wants to pray for patience. Like no one likes the virtue of discipline. Like no one, right? But aren't they necessary? Well, Angie loves them. But they're necessary, right? And so when you do this, it's going to help you be better in every area of your life. So that's what I got. Does anybody have anything they want to add? I didn't get to read any of the comments because I would have completely lost my Doritos. Oh, yum. Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you guys. Thank you. All right, well, I'm going to close this in prayer. Oh, Angie, did you want to, or you want to wait and talk about the island thing? We'll do it. Okay.
I can talk about it another time because it doesn't really fit necessarily with all of this.
Get a cool analogy thingy, so we'll talk about it next time. No, it was really cool, but like I said, when I started to write this out, it went different than I originally planned. So
yeah. No, and it was really good and it was really helpful because a lot of those things are things that I've run into and run up against and still do. And I think that's the part that needs to be reinforced, is that you don't overcome it once and then it's gone, and you don't overcome it once. You overcome it once and then you're like, okay, good, I got it. And then you try, and then you hit it again and you keep hitting it. And it might be a little bit different every time, but you're going to keep hitting it. So like my fear of having it work and running up against that and stepping back at just the wrong time, I'm going to keep running up against that. But I have to know that I have to keep pushing forward, even through all that. The discipline has to be there even when I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what's changed over the last couple of years for me, is that I still have the discipline, even though I step back sometimes. And then I realize, oh wait, I step back. I have to watch for that. So now I have my eyes open and I'm a little more clear. But you have to, it's a constant struggle. It's never gone.
Yes. And it's kind of like, it's more like this, like you're stepping up close, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, cause you're stronger each time. So like your resistance training, so you can lift heavier, you can push harder, like, because you know what I mean? But you're right. Like I still have this stuff. Sometimes I'm like, really, Lord, like, this is a thing and you're making this happen again. And he's like, yeah, on purpose, and I'm like,
okay. But the more you run into it, the more you realize I can do this. I can manage this. I can keep going. I can start again, or whatever it is you have to do. Every time you hit that, you push it a little farther and you push it a little farther, and you can do more, and you don't stop. And that's what that whole terror barrier thing that I put in the comments was.
Can you share that in the team page? It's a podcast you listen to, y'all.
Yeah, it's on the podcast, but it's that whole idea of you run into where you're terrified, you're so scared, and you do it anyway because you said you would. And then next time you do it, you're going to hit it, but your mind is going to go, wait, we survived last time, we'll survive this time. And you just keep doing it and you do it again. So even though it's hard and even though you don't want to, you can. And so the more you do that, the more your body will get kind of acclimated to the idea of, oh, I felt this before, I can push past this.
Yes. So good. So good. I feel like that even when I have like a flare up now, like when I have a flare up with my autoimmune and I get sick, I used to be like, why is this happening? And I still sometimes say that, but I'm like, I got over it again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know it's going to pass, which, so, well, Well, good. I'm glad this was helpful, you guys. We always close in prayer, so let's wrap up everyone in prayer, and I'll get the recording up tomorrow. Heavenly Father, you are so good. Lord, I just thank you for this beautiful team. I thank you for this time together tonight and for everyone who's listening to this recording. God, I thank you that you gave us this gift to be together, for the lessons that you've taught us, Lord. I just pray for, in a special way, for any ways that perfectionism is affecting us in our life, Lord, that you would shine a light on it so that we can take action to fire it, to evict it, to overcome it, that we would tap into the graces you have for us to do that. God, I ask that you would bless our business, that you would bless our work, our health, our wellness, that you would help our challengers and our coaches, not only to reach their goals, but to know that they're loved, to know that they have a value, to know that we care for them, to know that they matter. Lord, I pray for this season that so many of us are walking with stresses from family and work and health and just the state of our world. And I ask that you would infuse us with that peace that surpasses understanding, that you would wash over us with a calm and a trust and a surrender in you. You are the CEO of our life. You made us for this time. You didn't place us here on accident. You knew in the year 2020 you would need us. Show us what you need us to do and give us the courage to say yes. Lord, I pray for those who are sick and suffering. I lift up anyone on our team who is struggling right now. We pray for the recovery of the new mamas on our team. We pray for all the moms on our team with little ones as they navigate seasons of adjusting. We pray for the marriages on our team. We pray for healing for anyone who's feeling alone. And we ask, Lord, that you would place in our hearts people to reach out to this week just to be encouragers. And we ask that you would help us to have the courage to just listen and to step in and have a conversation. We lay our goals before you for the month of September, for the rest of this year. And we ask that you give us the wisdom to know how to take action and to trust you in the process, and that you take the little we have in the midst of all that we have on our plate and that you multiply it for your greater glory. God, I pray in a special way for just those that we know that are suffering, for friends of mine that I've shared that are struggling with illness. I feel like there's so much loneliness right now in our world, and I just ask that anyone that's on our heart right now that we know is suffering, Lord, that you would just bring them consolation and comfort. Lord, I thank you for the blessing it is to be a part of this team and for all of the gifts. And I just ask that you continue to show us the way you want us to be a light in this culture, in the Beachbody culture and in the world, and that you continue to bless this mission. And I thank you, God, for all the ways you already have. You are such a good Father, and we pray all these things in your most holy name. Amen. All right, you guys, have a great night.